What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan.
1-3 and 2-5 no limit.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today back at one of my favorite poker rooms here in Las Vegas. It's Resorts World, and this session just gets absolutely ridiculous. Huge pots in the 5, 10, 20 game here, uncapped, big stacks, big pots, just everything you could ever ask for in a poker vlog. So before we get into the hands, smash the like button because I promise you won't be disappointed in this one. And let's get into the hands because this gets just absolutely ridiculous. No other way to explain it. Upon entering Resorts World, we start a brand new 5, 10, 20 game, buy in for $3,000 and playing four-handed, short-handed to start. The very first deal of the entire game, I pick up ace-8 offsuit in the cutoff. There's an open to $50, small blind calls, and me on the $20 straddle, I call for $30 more. We're off to a flop of king-king-7, 2 spades. Sitting with ace-high actually isn't that bad on a paired board, but action checks all the way around, going to a turn, which comes another king. Now when action checks to me, I decide to bet $80. In hindsight, honestly, I think I'm just clicking here. $80 doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Maybe can protect ace high, but probably could just check ace high here. Anyways, the button makes the call, so I assume he has me beat. And we're going to a turn which comes the ace of clubs. Just bink. Went from bluffing with ace high to binking basically the nuts on this board. I bet out $160 for value, maybe get called by some non-believing pocket pairs. And this player thinks for a long time before tossing a chip for a call. I'll suck out against pocket queens, and nice hand to start off on a brand new table. It's always a good way to start a session by sucking out. In the next hand, we spice things up with a $50 double board bomb pot, no limit hold'em. So going 4 ways to 2 flops, I peel the premium 6-9 offsuit. We're on the button, and the flop 1 comes queen high. Flop number 2, also queen high. And when action checks to me, it looks like these players didn't connect much with how similar the boards are, and when action checks to me, trying to use my position as advantage, I try to bet out a small bet of $50 and get all folds. Yes! Yes! needed to win that hand. The premium 6-9 wins. I swear I'm mature a little bit, but anyways, hit that like button because how often will you see 6-9 high win a double board bomb pot? Following those shenanigans, I pick up a real hand pocket 8 on the button. Action folds to me and I raise it up to $60. Small blind folds and the big blind 3 bets, but not to a usual sizing. Clicks it up to $120 facing this min 3 bets. And here for $60 more, I'm in position, not going to do anything else but make the call with 8s here. We're going to a flop which comes jack 6-4, 2 spades and a heart. He now bets out $110 and almost a pot-sized bet. Pretty suspicious of what he's doing here. Maybe he could have a really strong hand and want to play this hand weird pre-flop. Who knows, but with second pair and for this price, definitely going to be in here, I make the call. When the turn comes the 10 of hearts, board is super wet with 2 flush draws, plenty of draws available. He decides to size up for pot once again for around $410. Facing this decision, the real hand starts now. I don't have a spade or heart in my hand, which makes it a lot more likely that this player could contain a flush draw. A hand like king-queen makes a lot of sense, and of course I could be losing to a few overpairs, but early on in this session, I'm in a gambling mood. I'm playing in position as well. I decide on calling the 410. We're going to a river with the pot ballooning up. The river is the 7 of diamonds, so every single flush draw bricks out, but now 8-9 is the nuts, and conveniently, I have 2 8s in my hand. Anyways, he's out of position and bets a third time, and this time sizing up again to $1,200. And all I'm thinking in my head is, let's play some poker. I'm thinking that it's pretty hard for this player to have pocket jacks or pocket 10s as he threw bet really small, but certainly could have premiums like those overpairs that have sets or just one pair and overpair to the board. This player has about $3,000+ behind in his stack, and I think I can put all of those premium one pair holdings into a disgusting spot. Holding key blockers to the nuts straight, I decide to go for it. I put them all in by communicating a raise of 5 yellow chips. Upon this raise, I just put it in the middle, and I'm staring at the board as this player goes into the tank forever. At this point into the night, I've had a few drinks in me, and ultimately, I'm just trying my best to stay still, look calm, although obviously my heartbeat is racing as he's taking more and more time to think over the situation. I'm praying for a fold, and he goes over his options and says that it would be a 6 spot if I am folding here, then lets his cards go. Thank goodness. Really nice to get a massive bluff through early on in the session. I chip up in a big way, and I guess he did have one of those really big overpairs. Wouldn't be surprised if he folded queens plus there. Just lucky I got it through. All right, we're chipping up, and I pick up king queen offsuit, and I straddle in the cutoff. There's a small blind player who limps, then a big blind raised to $70. In position of this big blind player, I make the call, and small blind calls as well, going to a flop of 10-9-8, 2 diamonds and a club. Here, small blind checks, and the big blind bets out $100. With 2 overcards to the board and a gut shot to the nuts, I decide to make the call for $100, and the small blind player folds. Going heads up to the turn, which is now the 4 of clubs, he decides that 100 was a decent bet on the flop, but amps it up to 210. Now with the backdoor flush draw here, with a club in my hand, definitely could consider repping clubs on the river if it comes to that point. So thinking I have enough playability in position, I make the call again, and we're going to a river, which is the 10 of hearts. Not the best card I'm looking for, actually. It's one of the worst ones, and even worse, this player bets out $550. He says, screw me to my plans to bluff this river. I think I gotta let this one go. Lose a couple $100 here with king queen high. Okay, so with the buy-ins amped up to uncapped with the straddle mandatory, I have ace king offsuit in the small blind, and there's a button open to $80. Well, hand's gonna get big because I'm gonna amp it up to 350. And little did you know, the big blind likes his hands and he goes all in. It's actually less than $350. It's about $250 total. So he's all in, committed his stack, and now the straddler decides that he wants to be committed in the pot and puts more money in, 4 bets to $820. This is the one player at the table that covers me. He has 22,000 in his stack, and I only have maybe 7 to 8K. Anyways, action folds to me, and I'm out of position. Obviously, I'm never folding ace king in the spot, and 5 betting here seems super strong, so I decide to make the call. There's about $750 in the main pot and a whole lot more to play for on the side pot, so let's see a flop with ace king high. Flop comes jack 9-7 rainbow, and here totally whiffed, not in love with this spot. I decide to check first to act, and the straddler checks it back. So getting to see a free turn, which comes another jack. So maybe I'm thinking that we're chopping here with ace king a lot of the time. Certainly reasonable for him to 4-bet ace king. And when another jack comes, I'm praying to just start repping this card because I think I'll have more jacks than him. I bet out $620 hoping to just win the side pot right here and right now. But the straddler has other plans and makes the call. Oh boy, not the result I'm hoping to see, but maybe we can figure it out on the river. The river comes the 8 of hearts, so any 10 makes a straight. Not thinking that it's likely for either of us to have many 10s in this spot, but hypothetically, if someone were to have more 10s, then I think it would be me. So I'm fighting for the side pot as it's clearly ballooned up. I decide to bluff out $2,000. The straddler doesn't take too long before folding. At least I'll win the side pot. I don't think I'll win with ace king high, and I certainly don't as the big blind has king jack for trips. He finds the full triple up, so I lose like $250 there, but win the chunky side pot that we built with the other player. Other player said that ace king high was actually good, so maybe he had ace queen and didn't believe me. That seems about the only hand I beat. Battling against the big stack again, I pick up ace 5 of spades on the button. I raise it up to $60. The big blind and straddler both calls, so going to a flop of ace 9-4 rainbow with 1 spade. Action checks to me, and on this board, pretty dry, and I have a weak ace. Sometimes can bet, and sometimes can check, and I decided to check this one. Going to see a free turn, which is the 3 of spades. All things considered, this is a dream board for me now with a gut shot, straight draw to the wheel, a flush draw to the nuts, and along with top pair. Action checks to me again, and I decide that it's time to start betting. I bet on $150 for value, and the big blind player, the big stack, he just says $150. Not enough, dude. He bumps it up to $400. Straddler folds and back onto me. Definitely not going anywhere with so much equity. Sometimes could be behind for sure. And 3 betting seems like an overplay, so I just make the call for $400 total. We're off to a river, which comes a deuce. Wow. Not the out I was looking for, but happy to know that I got there and basically have the nuts. He decides to check now, and it's certainly time to bet. I size to $850. This player doesn't look too happy about it and says it smells like a 5, which I gotta give him credit. He has really good reads. Ends up making the call saying he has 2 pair, and I win another big one. Just winning these crucial big pots here against this player, and happy to chip up once again. In the next interesting spot we play, I have ace queen of hearts on the straddle, and there's a cutoff player who limps, button raised to $70, and action folds to me. Yeah, this button player, obviously no surprise. He's the one that we've been battling against, and he covers me. I decide to 3-bet to $300 with a premium here. It's the nuts in blackjack, I'll tell you that much. But anyways, things get a little more uncomfortable as the limper jams his stack in for $935 total. Action folds to me, and this seems like such a tough spot. It's about a 50 big blind jam with the straddle, and the limp jam line always seems really strong. But on the other hand, my hand is just so pretty. Anyways, I take my time and think it over, but ultimately I think I'm just going to have to give some action to this player. He's certainly been very active on the table so far, and let's just gamble for about $1,000. I make the call and show my ace queen, and somehow we're up against king 10 offsuit. Basically a dream spot to be in as I'm ahead somehow. But when the flop comes a 10, that sucks. Turn ace, Bink City for us, and the river is clean. Find the nice suck out on the turn, and we scoop this one. Nice to suck out after a pretty bad flop, but I guess all is fair when the best hand ends up winning. So clearly I've been running pretty darn hot so far in this session here, and I pick up 6-4 of hearts on the straddle. Action folds the big blind who raises to $90. And look, it feels like I can't miss right now. I make the call with a very pretty hand. They're suited. Let's gamble. The flop comes king 6 deuce rainbow with 1 heart, and this player decides to bet $200. Basically a pot-sized bet, and I'm confused. This guy's also brand new to the table as well, just sitting down, so I don't know if he's going to go crazy, but I have middle pair. Seems like I can't miss a draw. I make the call. The turn is the 8 of hearts, so improved to the flush draw, so now I've got more equity, but this player bets out $500, which is an annoying amount because he only has $500 behind. It's a good turn to look at, and like I said, I have plenty of outs, and basically just running so hot, I'm happy to gamble. Definitely falling under like the gambler's fallacy where if I'm running so hot, maybe I can hit again. Probably unprofitable poker, but I make the call for 500 and the river is the queen of clubs. The luck has run dry in this hand and he decides to go all in for his remaining $500. And obviously can't do much with a pair of 6s here on the spot. I guess I just fold and dusted off some hard-earned money here. Didn't need to gamble, but in the moment, I did it. Moving right along to the next hand, we actually pick up a real one again. Ace-jack of spades on the button. I decide to straddle here on the button, and the small blind opens to $60. Big blind makes the call, and I decide to think that 60 is not enough. I 3-bet to $250. Small blind makes the call, and he's the player who covers me by $1 million. So my entire stack is in play. We're going heads up to a flop of ace-7-3, 2 diamonds and a club. He checks it over to me, and with a good top pair, I decided to go for value in this spot and bet out $180. For $180, it's a relatively small sizing. He calls for that amount. Going to a turn which comes the 5 of clubs. He checks it over to me, and I think that this card just really isn't good for my whole 3-betting range. And with 2 draws out there, decided to not blow up the pot with just 1 pair. I check this one back, and the river comes an 8. Board is a lot more connected for sure, and this player bets out $470. Although certainly could be losing to a lot of 2 pairs or sets right now. Seems like an easy call as played after checking the turn. I toss in a chip for a call, and he shows us 8-9 offsuit, and I'll take it down. Just smooth sailing so far besides that 6-4 hand, and everything else is going pretty well for me. Things are about to get even better as I peel pocket kings on the unleashed straddle. There's a cutoff player who limps and a button raised to $70. Action folds to me, and you already know where the direction of this hand is going. I bump it up. The price of poker goes up to $300. The cutoff player who limped gets out of the way. Pretty smart decision by him. But the button does not want to. He makes the call, and once again, he covers me. So we're going to a flop of queen 9-4 to clubs, just as safe of a board as I can ask for, and I decide to bet out 430. We've been playing a lot together and hoping to get some more value. For 430, he makes the call. The turn comes a beautiful 4. It's amazing to see that the board is paired, as we have the best 2 pair combos if we were losing to queen 9. Also eliminates combinations of sets I can lose to. So for those reasons, out of position, I decide to go for value again. I bet out $1,350. This sizing allows me to set up a river jam if I get called here on this turn, but he ends up waving the white flag and he folds, so I just keep on winning. If you thought the run good was pure, strap in your seatbelts. Let's go into this spot. We agreed to play a $50 double board bomb pot again, Hold'em style, so we're going 5 ways, with the flop coming Jack 7-4 rainbow on the first one. Flop 2 comes ace high, all spades. And I appeal, why wouldn't I appeal, king 5 of spades. Got the absolute nuts on one board and completely nothing on the other one. Action checks to me, and I decide to start with a bet of $120. Just sizing pretty small here, as I know I'm going to scoop up half the pot, so let's just build one. The player to my left makes the call for 120, and then onto the small blind who checked on the flop, he decides to check raise to $600. This is just quite the dream. Like I said, it's pretty hard for me to scoop with just king high on the first flop, so I just make the call here, trying to commit the player to my left to have more money in the middle, and unfortunately, when I call, the player to my left folds, so we're at least guaranteed to scoop one of the pots right now, and even better, the first turn is a king, turn number 2 is a 10, and wow, now with top pair, I actually have a chance to scoop. This player bets out $1,500. And this is awesome. Just absolutely what dreams are made of. He has about $1,000 behind, so basically committed his entire stack. And here, I'm just going to go all in. He snap calls for $2,500 total, and I'm happy to show my cards first, as I did go all in. I show the nuts on the bottom, top pair on the first board, and the rivers do not change much. He looks at his cards and is not happy about it. Ends up mucking. Found the dirty suck out on the first board here with top pairs good enough to win. And just another monster pot being scooped my way. This is exactly what dream sessions are made of. So been steamrolling over the table, and even better, I pick up pocket queens on the button. There are 2 players who limp, and I raise to $140. Small blind folds, but then the big blind, the guy who covers me, he now 3 bets to $440. Everyone folds to me, and I have about 15,000 in my stack now after chipping up big time, and certainly could 4-bet here. I think I should a lot of the time, but I've seen this player make some wild moves in the past, so I just decide to make the call. So we're going to a flop with a disguised strong hand. It comes Jack 5-4 rainbow. Here, he bets out $410 to start, and I have no decision other than just a call here. Really good spot for pocket queens, and I beat a lot of holdings. When the turn is the 3 of diamonds, he once again is not afraid and leads out for $1,200. And once again, I have an easy decision on just making the call. No need to raise and fold out his bluff that he could easily have. For $1,200, I'm in there. Pot is building. When the river is the 7 of hearts, there's a 4-liner on the board. Any 6 makes a straight, but that shouldn't really be too relevant. So here, he is first to act and decides to do something ridiculous. Overbets the pot to $6,000, and I am in the blender. I think things over, and initially, obviously, this should just be an easy snap call, and that's what my instinct is telling me to do, but I decided to think things over, and the more I think, the more I actually want to fold. When you think about population tendencies in live poker, it's really hard to find players who are willing to bet all 3 streets as bluffs, especially overbetting as a bluff as well. So let's think about the hands that you could be 3-betting with and bluffing with, and it's only hands like ace king or ace 5. I say it out loud because that's it. Do I think he's going crazy with a pair, or do I think he's going crazy with 2 overcards? Either do not sound that reasonable, and he could easily have pocket jacks in this spot. I lose to kings, and I lose to aces. And the more I think, and the more I count out those combos, there are more combos that I lose to than I actually beat. So, I don't know. Maybe I talked myself into a fold here, but I really want to, and I actually end up letting it go. One of the other main decisions that I wanted to fold was if I call and I'm wrong, then I'm actually only up like $1,000 in the session, and I'm up a really good amount as well. So maybe playing a little bit scared, wanting to lock up some profits, I fold face up after thinking about it for many, many minutes. And ultimately when I fold, he asks me if I want to see the cards for the vlog.
You want to see it?
Sure, it'd be good for the vlog. Yeah, I beat ace 5. Nice bet. Yeah. Oh God, gotta give credit. He had one of those hands that he was going crazy with and did. If I called, I would have won so much money, but I folded. So nice hand to this gentleman. Really ballsy bet by him on the river and got me to fold a hand that I basically never should have. To wrap up this session, I have Queen 5 of hearts on the button. I raise it up to $60 and get the big blind and straddle to call. Going 3 ways in position, trying to rebound from the queen's hand. The flop comes 9-7 high with 2 hearts. Flopping the queen high flush draw, the big blind first act actually decides to donk out $60. Straddler makes the call for 60, and sure, I have a queen high flush draw. Pretty good, facing a pretty good price as well. I make the call in position. In the turn, why wouldn't we just immediately get there? The 4 of hearts. Big blind slows down and checks, and the straddler now bets really large, about $300. And he only has like $500 to $600 behind in his stack. So after committing so much of his money, happy to just make the call as well with a really, really strong hand. The big blind now gets out of the way, so we're going heads up to the river, which comes a board pairing 9. This player goes all in for like $550, and I snap call with my queen high flush. This player shows 7-4 for turned 2 pair, but counterfeited on the river, unfortunately, and the queen high flush is going to win.
You got it. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
All right, cashing out. The game just broke. Playing here for a while, a few hours. It's like 1 a.m. so far, and there are no words to describe the session. It started off pretty tame, and then just shit went off the rails, and I picked up really big hands and won a lot of pots.
Hey,
the queen's hand hurts a lot.
Autograph?
Thank you, Doug. This is a staple name in the resorts world. Oh, really, Doug?
You're really famous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
it's really
Can
nice.
I sign your butt cheek or something?
My right butt cheek, not my left though.
Not your left.
My
Left is reserved.
Has a tattoo on it already.
Okay.
It says "Do not enter."
Fucking Doug. Anyways, yeah, the queen's hand that stings, but I guess end of the day I'm still pretty happy that I found a fold. Am I a bitch? Am I making right folds? Who knows? But excluding that I would have won like an extra 10K. I was in the game for $7,000 and out of the game for 14,850. Good profit there. I can't help but think how much I could have won if I made the call with queens, but I digress. Still a nice night, profitable night here at Resorts World. The game was really fun, drinks were flowing, and that is it. It all equates into a ridiculous high-stakes cash game here in Vegas. I'm having a great time, so thanks so much for watching. If you want to follow along more on the journey here while I'm in Vegas and traveling around, then you should hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. But thanks so much for watching. More videos coming soon. Nice night in the cash games. I'll see you next time. Peace.